okay it. All right.
I
All
guess.
right, welcome. Here we are for episode 5. And let's introduce ourselves again, just so people don't know. I'm Paul, and
I'm Mark.
I am Phil.
excellent. And let's see, last week last month, we were talking about the awesome Rebels and Patriots mission that we did at the church. And then our poor church pastor had to go in for surgery. So we haven't been to the church in a while, right?
Right.
But he's doing really
Right.
well. So everything's good.
That's great. I hadn't heard an update, so that's really good to hear.
Yeah, I talked to him this week. He's doing a lot better.
Yeah,
So
he's out of the support equipment and he's in physical therapy. So he's on the mend.
yeah.
Great. Perfect.
All good.
Good to hear.
Yeah. And his space, of course, we've talked about, it's just fantastic.
It's amazing. It's a great place to play. Excellent.
Well, it has a kitchen.
It's got air conditioning.
It has a clean bathroom.
Yeah, a clean bathroom. I was gonna say that.
These are all
Yeah,
things you never find in a game store.
100%.
So let's talk
Yeah.
about
Speaking of, what's the deal with Gameology? I just heard they're selling. Do you guys know
okay.
anything?
They have sold.
Okay.
So Kevin, the original, well, actually, I know the original owner, a man
Okay.
named Dave. I'll protect his last name. I don't
Of course. Yeah. No, we don't have to use names if you don't like.
know. So Dave bought it. He created it and moved it around. Eventually, it ended up in Montclair. And then he sold it to Kevin. I think Kevin had some partners at the time, but they've since left. Then Kevin moved it up to Upland and did very well with it, so much so that he started one in Pasadena, which
Okay.
Chad has managed for him through the pandemic and beyond.
Mhm.
And then has decided to go ahead and sell. So he's sold to 2 different parties. And
Okay,
so
nice.
they're separately owned, have the same name, but they're not affiliated with each other anymore.
Okay.
The
And
exciting
have
thing
you
is,
played there? Have you played there recently, Paul?
yes, I've been playing
Okay.
40K there
Okay.
and talking up Flames of War in a big way.
Perfect. You're a Flames of War guy then.
I have Flames of War, yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
I've created a whole unit of Flames of War.
Oh wow, Americans.
Nice.
Yes.
Now explain, is the rule set the same as Team Yankee, just different genre? I mean, years, or is it different
Yes.
rule set?
Yeah, it's the same sets of same kind of rules where infantry takes 5 hits and then they start getting damage, and vehicles it's all 6-sided D6 kind of thing, and you're running platoons, company-sized units of infantry.
Cool.
And it's that scale. I don't know what that scale is. It's smaller
15 millimeter.
smaller than 72nd, right?
It's 100. Yeah, 1/100. I think.
Yeah, it's 15 millimeter, I think.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a marketing ploy for all companies. What is everyone else doing? So we won't do those scales.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, because then you have to buy a bunch of stuff, right?
Like, who's heard of 156 scale?
Right. Who does that? And then even the 170, and then there's a variation in between everything. 172nd, there's a little bit of variation, or
Well,
even
no one
the
plays that
20.
anymore.
What's that?
172nd was big in the 70s and 80s when everyone had
Yeah,
air
that
fixed
that's when
figures.
that's how I got into it. Yeah.
I actually got into HO.
Right. I had a train set and then I had the man and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I can't remember the company. There was a whole line of tanks you could get, and I had them all. And we played in a garage. A guy had converted his garage to a big dirt table.
Nice.
It was crazy fun.
That's killer.
Argued and argued about rules that were homebrew anyways. It was just so sad. Now we have official rules from Warlord and
That's right.
Shop. And
Oh, that's good stuff.
so yeah, I've been playing 10th edition, loving it. They have these tactical missions now. There's about 20, 25. So each turn you pick 2. In fact, there's one mission where you pick 3 each turn, which is really exciting.
Mhm.
And so that everything changes every turn. You're trying to manage your army plus what his army is doing or hers, and
Okay.
then the objectives change every turn for you, as opposed to the simple objective, which is the ones on the table that you're trying to grab. But then there's new ones like run to the corners, run to the center,
Right.
as much as you
Okay.
can, place a homer, place a teleport homer. It's just really cool stuff like that that just pops up and you do or you don't do.
So were previous
Okay.
editions more shooty than that? And
Well, previous editions, so the original game was kind of flat, and then ITC, who Reese owns, they developed a whole set of missions, secondary missions, and then they sold that basic idea set to Games Workshop. So now 10th edition uses that 10 secondary missions, but they've really refined it. They've made it nice and fun. Because in the
Nice.
past, it was kind of like hold A and B, hold C and D. That was the secondary missions. Now they're
Right.
interesting, like run to the center, or knock a unit of your opponents off of an objective, grab the
Uh-huh.
no man's land objectives, grab your opponent's objective, grab your home objective. So you got to be thinking of those things as you play, because they're going to come up at some time. So, but you got to still play the current missions that you have. You can also delete them, just take them out at the end of the turn. Like, I'm not going to get this one, so I'm going to just discard it and grab a command point. So
I see.
they've really fixed it up.
That's cool.
So wait, how's BattleTech? We all promised to play BattleTech, and we have failed you.
we could blame it on the hurricane. Last week I couldn't play any games because of that stupid hurricane, so I'm blaming it all on Hurricane Hillary. So
It wasn't it a hurricane?
yeah,
Earthquake.
yes, there was an earthquake as well, which was
Nice.
So we're all
awesome.
calling it in California the hurricane.
Yes, which was a lot less wet than I thought it was going to be, at least where I am. So
For those that
I
don't
have
know,
I
we had
have to
a
admit that I'm sorry.
we had a 5.1 in Ojai, which we all felt in the greater LA Ventura area. Did you feel it much, Mark?
Yeah, I did pretty good. I'm upstairs, so yeah, good shake.
So it wasn't the rum chasers then.
No. Nice.
So you're doing some BattleTech, Phil. You did some BattleTech, Phil?
yeah, and I did some earlier in the month, and I mean it'll get into what we're talking about later. But one of the local players at Lost Planet Games has basically created an escalation league for July and August, and that's been really helpful in pulling players into the game. But we could talk about that in a little bit. So yeah.
Xander's has been like, I guess they have BattleTech and they've been playing it, had demoing it to customers, and it's picking up. I notice more and more people are coming in and playing it.
Oh, that's good.
Now they have a Discord channel which I follow, but I haven't been following the BattleTech on Xander. Have you been following the BattleTech?
Not
I have
on
not. I mean, I just
Xander.
see it personally.
Yeah, I'm on a bunch of other BattleTech channels, but not Xander's.
Okay, you got to pick up the pace. No, it's quite active.
Okay.
There's lots of posts, lots of people posting lists, meetups, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's picking up at Xander, which is really nice. I haven't seen much
Yeah.
Gameology, but
And
lots
there's a lot of Odyssey. Yeah, there's a lot of Odyssey as well.
Oh, there's a lot of Odyssey games.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
Another go ahead.
they had a speed dating event
I heard
With
about that.
miniature people?
Odyssey Games has hosted a speed dating event.
Nice.
Like tables.
So wait, people that are interested in miniatures go to a speed dating event, or
Maybe not just miniatures, I think just gaming in general. I mean, they sell a lot of board
okay.
games and card games there as well.
Right on.
Single people or okay, I'm not going there.
I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't go.
Maybe, it's some people are hard to get out of the house, so maybe that's a good way.
Go ahead, Phil.
As to say, just aside from BattleTech, the other thing I did was get in a game of Xenos Rampant again, which I'm enjoying. And so I've painted a couple more Star Wars Legion models for my Xenos Rampant army. And I mean, I'm playing against people who are using their 40K armies in it. So it's just a good generic sci-fi system where we could mix and match whatever we want.
And I've been playing a lot of board games. I know. Played Mysterium. Have you played Mysterium?
Nope.
It's a really,
Nope.
really good game, and the girls love it.
Nice.
Basically, you are one person is a ghost, so they can't speak at all during the game, and they send out clues, which are beautiful renderings. And each person has to look at their clue and try to match it with suspects and weapons and locations. And then the ghost tells them if they're right or not by handing them that location or not. And then at the end, all the psychics, all the other players get together and try to guess out of the 3 or 4 suspects that have been identified, which is the real killer.
Is the ghost like a dungeon master in D&D? Like you're sort of pushing them down certain paths?
Yes, but they can't talk. They can only communicate with pictures.
Ah, so like, do you select the card that you'll give them?
You randomly select cards from a deck and then try
Okay.
to hand them out.
Nice. And then they say, I see dead people.
I see dead people, yeah.
I see dead people.
I hear dead people.
I hear dead people. Nice. That sounds cool. It sounds like Clue, but like mega, like 3 layers more, maybe.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then what's really cool is if you go onto YouTube and type in Mysterium, the company has all these videos with sound with mood music that you can set up on your iPad or computer or TV and play in the house. So there's also visuals that go along with it that are free.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is very cool. It is, I think, one of the most innovative of game systems that I've seen. And again, it breaks down all the barriers of gaming. Everyone that plays it, that I've played it with, is like, wow, that is really different and fun.
So is this a board game, and who is the publisher?
Okay, now you're going to really make me go get it, aren't you?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you knew. Don't. Oh, never mind.
Look what you did, Paul. Mark. You made Paul feel leave.
I know. Hey, the acquiring minds want to know, right? Right on. So, BattleTech, do you paint your armies there, Phil?
Oh yeah, I've got tons of painted models. They're fairly easy to paint, so I could get through them pretty quickly. So
And I
I've
noticed they carry. I'm sorry. Go.
oh
Keep
yeah,
going.
I mean I've got well over 100, 150 models painted at this point. So
Oh,
there's
sweet.
Paul.
There we go.
Is it
Mysterium.
backwards?
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, so for the people who can't see the screen, Paul, who manufactures it?
The manufacturer is Libelud. I haven't heard
Okay,
that
cool.
before. But they
And you got it.
They have them at Xander's. I've seen it at Xander. I've seen it at
Yeah.
all famous game stores. Famous.
Famous.
Oh,
Where did you get it? Gameology?
where did I get it? Yeah, I think I got it at Gamology.
Cool.
They also have expansions. So when you use all the cards and stuff, you can buy the expansion and it has more cards and stuff in case you get.
Now, is there characters, not to be funny, but like Colonel Mustard, you're the character like that? Like, or no?
Well, no, the characters are more interesting that they're not named, obviously, because you don't, that's not the intent of it. You have a little clock that you wind down. So each turn is before day, because the spirits only come out at night.
Right.
And some of the beautiful cards that you have to look at to
Nice.
try to match with locations that the psychic gives you. And then these are some of the people that are suspects.
Nice.
So there's another suspect. And
You're
what
gonna have
mystery wouldn't be really a murder mystery without a nun.
Very stylized, yeah.
Yeah. So it has really good graphics. The whole game mechanic is the board itself is really beautiful. So this is Dungeon Master's.
Oh yeah.
His screen. So that's what everyone looks at. And then on the other side is all the suspects and what they actually put those cards in. So you, as the game master, know that the purple player is looking for this person and these locations and these weapons. But it's like Clue. You're looking for a place, a murderer, and a weapon that they used. Fabulous game.
Okay, well let's you should have a Halloween session.
I played it on Halloween night. It is really, have special music on the website for Halloween.
Perfect.
It is. It's really well thought out. Great game. But it's one of the topics I wanted to talk about was how to get people into miniature gaming
Yes.
because we're all veteran miniature gamers. So we spend a lot of time painting figures and coming and showing them off and playing all these rules that take hours to read. Um, and that's not, I don't think, a good way into a hobby. Like if you were to ask me, hey, you want to play tennis? Sure. Okay, well, you're going to need to spend $200 on a pair of shoes. Got to get the right outfit. Your racket's about 400, 500. You know, people are going to be like,
And then the first time you go out and play, you're gonna get destroyed, and the person's gonna just blow you off the table, off the court.
and say, I'm sorry. Want to play next week?
You'll get better.
You'll get better. Just keep getting beat.
Yeah.
So, what are these entry level miniature games that are coming about? There's a new one out called Away Missions, which is using the Star Trek lore.
Hey,
But
Yeah.
first, can you tell me? I have a problem seeing where new games come out. Where do you guys see like the advertisements for new games?
There's a couple of websites and some podcasts I listen to. One of the websites, let me find it, is oh, not the miniatures page, but Tabletop Gaming News is good for posting. They're basically a little news site. They have board games, role playing games, and miniature games. Um, I also watch a lot of podcasts or on YouTube videos. Basically, there's a bunch of people who have shows that basically talk about upcoming board games and stuff
Like
like that.
Left Coast Gamers?
yeah,
I mean, we really don't. People who are insiders and get advanced copies and show them off too. So yeah.
Sweet, sweet.
I follow Board Game Geek.
Okay.
That's a really big site that I keep up with, and they have reviews and new games and videos. And for example,
Nice.
I looked at Lorcana and learned how to play on Board Game Geek.
Sweet.
I guess Xander is an official Southern California distributor, right?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
I mean, Lorcana was the game that they had the long lines at Gen Con for, so it'll be really popular.
That's the Disney card game.
Yep, the Disney trading card game.
Which is plays almost exactly like Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't mean to upset the momentum. I just don't know where to get good information on new games. So go ahead and talk about. We were talking about Star Trek.
Right. So there's been in the past some games where you open up the box and there's some figures that are color coded green or red or blue or so you know which color you're playing. I played an old game called Dungeon Run, which had figures already with it that you could paint if you wanted to. But it was just a handful of figures that just represented like Monopoly, just spots on the board where you were.
Right.
And there was a Magic the Gathering game that had figures in it, and you'd cast your spells, and then your figures would appear on the board. And it didn't do so well because
Okay.
it's not as innovative as the Magic the Gathering game.
Right.
So a lot of people that play the card game came to it and said, "Oh, this stinks." And then the new people were like, "I don't get this," and it tried to tread too many different genre.
I mean, so when I'm trying to find players for games these days, I mean, usually, I mean, I'm trying to find other miniature players and trying to convince them to play the games that I want to play, for example, and not play that strange 40K that everyone else seems to like. But I mean, it used to be Facebook, but a lot of people refuse to go on Facebook and create Facebook accounts. I mean, these days, a lot of the game stores have their own Discords, and I mean, that's a great place to find out what's being played at the store and to actually go and set up games and meet people at the store. And you could post pictures and say who's interested in playing BattleTech, and I could give you a demo and stuff like that. So just trying to reach other players in the community. I've had a lot more success with Discord these days than anything else.
So here's the question that popped into my mind. How do you get people to transfer over from card games like Magic to miniature games? Because it seems like there's a very big barrier. Like I'm on Magic and I'm not going to do miniatures and vice versa.
Yeah, I've been really struggling with this because I am very addicted to miniatures. And I've
Mhm.
noticed that people that play board games or customizable card games or video games don't want to, or they're intimidated by the amount of work that goes through in making your army or your band, your war band. Like we've talked about Frostgrave. Frostgrave is another great game, but it just doesn't
Mhm.
seem to be launching or gathering any steam. Um, Not sure why. It's a great system, but again, it has. I think it's just people look at it and are frankly scared by the money and
Right.
the amount of work that goes into it.
And I mean, Frostgrave, there's no like army boxes. You have to basically figure out what models you want to buy, and they have
Right.
some themselves, but you have to customize them and build the force that you want. And it's not as easy as even as the GW games where here's everything in a box, but it's a box that requires a lot of work. I
Mhm.
mean, you mentioned the new Star Trek away team. I mean, that's an entire game in a box. Where the miniatures, you don't have to build them. At least you could just put them on the table and they're in two different colors. There's blue miniatures and there's gray miniatures and stuff like that. And I mean, that's why X-Wing became so popular because you could just pop those out and play without any painting at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as far as veteran gamers go, the three of us, I think we need to maybe think about how we would then jump on that and build upon it, or um, work away. Like Kill Team is a good example. I see at the game store a lot of people playing Kill Team, but not
And
one.
what is this? Remind me what Kill Team is?
Oh, so Kill Team is the 40K skirmish game.
Oh, yes.
So you just have a handful of figures and you play on a very small 4x4 or even a 2x2 board.
Yeah. So, yeah, 40K is hard for me to wrap my brain around. So, yeah, I don't know how to get people to jump from 40K to even, historical games. Because a lot of times at Xander's, we get people walk up to the table and go, "Oh yeah, I play 40K," um, but I don't want to do the World War II stuff so
I mean, I still think X-Wing, and I haven't played it in a while, is a great introductory game for that reason because it's pre-painted, and you really don't need terrain. You're in outer space, and there's maybe some cardboard asteroids, and that's about it for terrain. It's
right.
fairly simple. You just need a big black piece of felt, and you're good to go.
And they were selling, I think they still are selling X-Wing at Target and stores, big,
Oh, nice,
Walmart and that kind of stuff.
nice.
But it still hasn't taken off, and I'm
The
not sure.
thing, the thing for me with X-Wing is I really like it. It's just that I don't know all the little intricate force pieces, like qualities for each player. Like let's say Obi-Wan Kenobi has certain force and shield and certain things that he can do. And being a newer player, you have to sort of memorize that, and that's really hard. And you have to sort of keep track of it, on your cards and stuff. And so I think that gets a little difficult.
I think the same thing goes for, like, say, bolt action and not knowing the different troop qualities and the different vehicles and stuff. I think people have that same reaction.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of, I played today against the Soviets and I'm not happy.
Now, this is a new battle report that we should be seeing because the last time you
Uh
did you?
Next week. I mean, during the week, yeah, I sort of, life
So,
gets in the way, but
so we've all played Bolt Action. So have any of us been following the Warlord Games' operational critical hit campaign that they're doing now?
what is this? What is this?
So they basically have an online kind of map-based campaign right now where every week there's a different mission that they provide for Bolt Action, Blood Red Skies, and Victory at Sea, and you could play those, and they're out calculating if the Allies are winning or the Axis are winning, and if the Allies win a week, they get a bonus in the next week's competition and so forth. Like this week, they get free medics on the Allied side because they won the previous week if you're playing Bolt Action.
And
Um,
this is done digitally?
yeah, Yeah, you know, you just play your games wherever you want, and you email your some game reports back to Warlord, say which side won. Did the Allies win or did
Oh,
the Axis win? That's really all they care about.
okay.
I know they did this in the past for like a D-Day, and that worked a little better, I thought, because they provided um, custom missions. Here, you're just playing missions straight out of all the books. Um, it's interesting because I'd be curious to know how many people are actually playing Bolt Action versus Blood Red Skies versus Victory at Sea. See what those numbers
And
were.
this is, have you guys played the combined arms?
I have not. I'd like to, but no, have not done that yet.
So I've done a lot with the combined arms game and enjoyed it. But most of the people that are playing at my favorite game store are playing Flames of War, so hence the Flames of War army, so that I can actually play.
And
Right.
they are
Yeah.
using the combined arms maps for these on their site. Um, let's paste that in the chat so you can see the link to that. But yeah, I mean, I think ideally, and maybe in the fall, it would be nice to get more bolt action going. I know we've been talking about getting that
Yes.
going at the church and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, we got to get everyone on the mend, and we can do that probably.
yeah, yeah, because I know there's more people who have bolt action, and some kind of organized tournament would be fun, and using something like the combined arms would make things interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
We can maybe work on that through Gameology also, maybe, or Odyssey.
Yep, and
so
people could ideally play wherever they want. We just centralized collect all the scores and stuff like that to figure things
I
out.
see. Got you. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
and I think we have to have a store register us for the critical hit.
I don't know if you do or not. I thought anyone could just submit battle reports. Maybe you need a store. I don't remember. I didn't actually do it, but I thought I registered myself, not through a store though.
Okay.
You
I
did
have
that on
not yet
Warlord, yeah.
registered.
I
Yeah,
see it. I see what you sent us the link. Thank you.
yeah, that's the link to their current week.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, weekly bonus.
Yeah.
And it's again, I can't stress enough how someone just coming into this would be a little bit intimidated by
Right.
what's on
Right.
there.
For
Uh,
sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I mean, thinking about, I mean, what would make a good starter gift if you wanted to buy someone their first miniature game? I mean, I mean, I would pick, I mean, X-Wing or BattleTech just because there's no building, everything you need is in the box. Um, I don't know of a historical game that would be comparable to either of those. It's ease of play, just opening the box.
but Blood Red
So,
Skies has a starter
That's
box.
true. You're right. Blood Red
oh,
Skies, we
you
do not
know,
need paint.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that you're right. That would be perfect because the planes are in two different colors, and there's no assembly required.
What
The
about Wings?
Dan.
Is it Wings of War? Is it the World War One game? I think that's really simple.
It
Okay.
is. That's a little harder to find these days. I don't know of anybody that carries that anymore. I don't know if it's actually still around or not.
Because the planes were painted, you just took them out of the
Yeah.
box and played, and I think it's just left, right, and straight, right? I mean,
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That would be good, and played a lot of that back in the day. And it used to be easy to find, but I haven't seen
right.
that available in a long time.
Yeah, that's a bummer because it's pretty simple for people to understand.
And we've been playing the American War of Independence, and I learned first, way back with minifigs and that kind of rule set. And then there was another rule set that was very good. I don't remember the name of it. Then there was Muskets and Tomahawks, which I love, which I can't get even at
Okay.
the game store. So that's really frustrating. And then Osprey, which is kind of a kingpin now in this industry, has come out with Rebels and Patriots, which I love. But as I played it, everyone at the tables there at the church were like, "Well, this isn't, muskets and tomahawks. That'd be way
Well,
more fun."
it's just what
I'm
you want
like,
to do.
what?
It's just what you're in for. I mean, if you want to play a quick, fun game, Rebels and Patriots is great,
Then how do I get tomahawks?
I'm
Muskets.
not sure. I'll check for you. I think I think I know a couple sites to get it from.
But it's not like you go down to Target and get it.
Oh, heck
No,
no. You got to search a little bit. You got
it's
to go
not.
to a game store online.
Yeah, it's not even a local game store. None of the local game stores are going to have it. Yeah.
Nope. They all look at me like, can't get it. Sorry.
Truthfully, I bought mine off eBay. I typed it in and I got lucky, and then I found the cards with it too. But I also know Michigan Toy Soldier Company. I think they have it.
And that's a website that looks like it was created in the 1980s.
Yeah. They're pretty fast on their deliveries. I haven't ordered from them in a long time, but they're a game store in Michigan, a local shop that's pretty,
It's kind
Yeah, I
of
mean,
funny, like the model rocket industry. Do you remember that? That was like
yeah.
really popular in the 60s and 70s, and now you have to kind of do the same thing. Is SD still around?
right.
I think
They
Yeah, do you
are. Yeah.
remember going to I was always excited. There was a great hobby store in Ventura. It's still there. But walking into the hobby store and looking at all the models and different rockets and trains and all that stuff.
The other historical game I could think of is Gale Force 9 has World of Tanks.
yes.
Um, and that's really hard to find as well. I mean, you, I don't know who carries that locally. I think Lost Planet might have some, but I mean, they're basically the Flames of War tanks, and they're pre-painted and stuff like that. So yeah, pre-built and pre-painted.
They're a little bigger though, aren't they?
I thought they were pretty much the same thing because I thought a lot of people use them
Oh,
in
okay.
in Flames of War. I thought they were the same mold for the most part.
Because I know I was looking for Hellcats at Gameology, and they said, "Hey, there's a Flame of War Hellcat." I'm like, "That thing's way bigger," and they all laughed at me. And like,
I I
spending,
haven't checked in a while. Maybe they are different size.
I don't know. I didn't. I just kind of ran after they laughed at me.
Yeah,
No, they weren't that mean. They
nice.
were laughing because no one's playing World of Tanks.
World of Tanks I play online, right? Is that the same thing?
It's the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's you have a
Okay.
couple, two or three. You have two or three tanks, and you're going up against two or three tanks. Yeah, like
Okay.
you can.
I'm too cheap on the internet to pay for the gold, so then I lose a lot because I get blasted, but
That
But did you do What a Tanker? Didn't someone do that this month?
Yes,
was
Paul did, and I think were you on that, Phil?
yeah. I was there. That was last. Didn't we talk about that last month? I thought that was in
We did.
July.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
did.
So all we had was BattleTech, your bolt action missions, my 40K, and my painting frenzy. So
Right.
what's coming up then?
Will you take a break?
Yeah,
We
we
need,
better take a break.
it's commercial
All
time.
right.
We will see you in a minute.
Nice.